And away we go.
And it's Brunch with Al and Steve, episode 35. Holy shit, 35. Anyways, I mean, it's not like we do one every week, but still, 35 is a lot.
New episode, same bullshit.
Yeah, same bullshit. SSDD, same shit, different day. 35, part 1. We got Jets again because it's just
Awesome.
it's good pizza and it's good pizza. What else can we say?
Calzone.
Yeah, I keep doing the calzones because
And I always get the pepperoni with the jalapenos cut in squares, very much Chicago style. Thin crust is very crispy. This is what I'm used to. I love it.
And we're going to start with something that I almost didn't want to talk about. I still don't actually want to talk about it, but if we're going to do a podcast like this, we kind of have to talk about it. It's one of those things, and it's the speech that Trump gave. What was it? Tuesday, Wednesday? Anyways, the one that he gave midweek last week. Where it was basically just fear-mongering and lies. But I'll let Steve go into the details a little bit more. But on the outset, that's all it was. It was fear-mongering and lies. But the fact that he was even able to get away with, an hour and a half or however much it was of just that, like there was no substance to it beyond that, is disturbing in and of itself.
Everything he said was bullshit.
Yeah, and not like most of what he says isn't bullshit, but it took it from
there was barely a kernel of truth.
There wasn't any. I mean, I'll respond to the things that Steve says at this point.
I'm sure you have, and we're just going to talk about it. We're going to fucking analyze this shit. And what I think is, like, look, he's saying some of the same bullshit, but what I think he was really trying to do is set the stage and lay the groundwork for fucking up these elections. He's still talking about 2020. He's still talking about rehashing old bullshit. To the lead up to this speech, he had done some things, and the administration had done some things to fuck up these elections, which are, get rid of some, fire some certain people, get rid of some legislation, do some certain, bunch of stuff that they're putting into place, right? Look this stuff up. And then this speech, and what I really picked up on was his emphasis on how these elections are not safe, they're not fair, people are voting illegally, they're rigged. And one of the other things he wants to do is get rid of the systems that are in place and replace them with systems that he's involved with. This could not only benefit him economically, but possibly tampering with this shit. Who knows? But he's laying that groundwork because, as you know, when you have a narcissist and they're joking, they're not joking, they're testing the water, right? And this is, how these guys operate. This is how they manipulate. They slowly, like we talked about a year and a half ago, turning up the temperature. It took, in Germany in the 1930s, that stuff started in the early 30s before it ramped up. It took a whole decade. He's ramping this stuff up a lot quicker than they did even in Germany, and they started with the trans. And we're going to get into that in a second here, but that was Stephen Miller who actually ramped up that rhetoric. Because I think the game plan is, and this is all orchestrated, once again by these federalists and these crazies that want to take control of the executive, right? And have complete dominance. And they roped in these Christian nationalists on their side, and the techno-fascists, right? So you've got this trifecta going on here. So, they're all sort of in cahoots on this because they're all fascists. So that's what they have in common, and Trump's the puppet, right? He's the puppet. You got Thiel, Musk, and some of these other techno-fascists bankrolling this shit, along with these billionaire Christo-fascists.
Just to interject here, everybody that they're bringing into the administration, they're litmus testing every last one of them, and you can see it online. It's the exact same rhetoric every time. The non-MAGA, let's just put it that way, non-MAGA in the government asks these people, it was one simple fucking question that they can never answer, and that question is, who won the 2020 election?
Right.
And the response every fucking time is, it was certified for Joe Biden. Yes. We know that it was certified for Joe Biden, but they can't actually say that he won because that would be contradicting the narrative that they're trying to put out from Trump.
It would destroy this narrative, this false narrative that's been proven false. There isn't a lick of evidence. There hasn't, man, I would even if there was something, right? just something. Look, there's more evidence that you could pick out that this last election that Kamala lost was fucking rigged. Way more evidence you could pick out and have that case. Just statistical anomalies alone make it almost fucking impossible for that shit to have happened that way. But, the receipts just are, look, there's so much circumstantial evidence that they did something, but, there's no smoking gun just yet, and no one's ever going to admit to it. When it comes to this tech shit, they can bury and hide shit, and that's probably what Doge was doing anyways, hiding that shit and stealing shit. So, look, we got this, right? We got this coming up. So Trump did start to dig into some of this shit that Stephen Miller really fucking laid into. But basically, he was in legislation being passed. Or look, it's not even. He can utter these words, but it doesn't really mean shit if no one's going to execute it. But this is where they're going to run into problems. But this is what they want to do, and there's going to be states that are going to fucking follow suit, right? Like Texas, Florida, some of these other ones, right? But what he's saying is anybody who's anti-fascist. Which is crazy.
Which should be everybody.
Which should be everybody in the United States of America is criminal. Is a criminal and should be deported. Should be put in a fucking concentration camp and maybe put in jail, and they'll probably have you. They won't deport you. They'll just have you doing slave labor for the corporations. But that is their goal. If you think I'm fucking kidding, if you think this is some kind of conspiracy, or I'm just making shit up, this is in your fucking face. They're saying this shit. It's all lined up. They've been saying it for fucking a year and a half strong. This has been in the works for 50 fucking years, right? With these, they've duped in these Christian nationalists and now the techno-fascists for what these guys have been wanting to do, who've been laying the groundwork for this shit. This is not a fucking conspiracy. This is not far left fucking wacko bullshit. This is in your fucking face, and if you're too stupid to see it, you're a fucking moron. Sorry. You're just stupid as fuck. Look, I've gotten to the point now where it's like, I can tolerate people that are like slow learners, or they can't get their shit out.
Or have deliberately been avoiding the news. I mean, there are some people who, if you really have been avoiding the news that much, maybe you don't see it because you haven't seen it. But to willfully not understand it if you've seen it is a different matter.
Or, like I said, these, even I'm slow to learn certain things. Some advanced stuff is fucking hard for me. Fucking can't spell for shit. The grammar sucks. There's shit I'm fucking shitty at, right? But god damn it, it doesn't fucking ruin it for everybody. These people, look, I've lost my patience because, look, it's like you can have empathy and you can say, look, man, I know, like, it's hard and you've had this kind of life and it's hard for you to grasp on this stuff, but not understanding this and not understanding reality for what it is fucking it up for everybody. This small, like 30% of this country that's like won't fucking get out of this shit is allowing this shit to fucking still happen, is fucking it up for everybody, right? It would be laughable. It would be comical. I mean, the most narcissists are fucking laughable jokes when you look at them. They're so pathetic. All they do is lie, believe their own lies, project all their fucking guilt and shame back on people. And that's all these guys do. Listen to Miller's speech. He's literally talking about himself. You make nothing. You create nothing. It's like, dude, that's you. You've described yourself to a fucking T. You've described yourself to a fucking T. You've described MAGA to a T. Most of the people on MAGA are either trillionaire billionaires who don't do anything but exploit, don't build, don't make. They exploit and fucking conquer and plunder. And poor people. Look at I saw this another thing, and I've seen this thing a million times. The states, the red states, take $1.50 for every dollar they put into the freaking coffers in this country.
Then ironically, they don't take enough.
And not only that, blue states only take 75 cents. So the difference is like massive. Like the blue states, look, there's two states that actually contribute, and that's Texas and Florida, but they don't even combine to make what fucking California puts in. So you guys are the takers. You guys are the idiots who can't get shit done. Are so like, and then they bitch about Texas here, like, oh, people are moving in from all over. But yeah, who would actually be able to do the shit that you need to do here? Nobody who lives here, because you motherfuckers don't go to school. When you do, you won't fucking learn nothing. You quit and you fucking blame everybody else because a black person got your fucking job. Shut the fuck. I'm tired. If you fucking don't like what I'm saying, go fuck yourself. I'm just so sick of it because, like I said, this is fucking it up for everybody. This is fucking it up for everybody. Your stupidity, if you're watching this and you're one of these guys, is fucking it up for everybody. And look, and if you're obviously, I think the vast majority of people who stumble across the a couple, we used to get like almost quadruple the fucking views.
Yeah,
like almost 5 times.
Well, some of that's just the platform. The platform is going to hell, but
right. And so,
but something we do need to bring up about his speech, just what he says. What he said was that the Democrats are all going communist. Well, several key points about that. First of all, communism and socialism and capitalism, for that matter, none of those are political systems. They're economic systems. So first of all, understand that, because there are too many people, including people on the left, who don't fucking get that. They are not forms of government. Well, period. Sort of. Well, sometimes, but
there's an argument to be made.
Generally,
I don't think that the point is they don't understand what any of that shit is.
Well, yes, right. And yes, there are more people on the left who are turning to what we call democratic socialism, but democratic socialism is basically what we had in the 50s and 60s. It's not
30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Right. It's not something foreign to U.S. policy.
It's what stopped this country from turning communism and possibly going totalitarianism in that direction.
Right.
Because that's what happened to China and Russia and all these other countries.
Oh, and then apparently he said some really wacky things about China that don't add up at all either.
Look, nothing this fucking guy
says. Yeah, I know. But it's just
anybody
even
who
further
talks
out there
about
than normal.
socialism or communism, it's socialism until somebody else is... Anytime I try to have a conversation with any of these people, they don't know jack shit about any of it. And yes, it's an economic system, but it's also a government form, because it's all intertwined. But if you really want to get in the weeds with this, I really don't want to get into the weeds right now, but because that could be a whole fucking 2-hour lecture I could get.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of time right now.
But yeah, the dangers of communism, if unchecked, is just as equal as the dangers of capitalism.
Which is to say fascism. Which is what this administration already is.
Right, which is a form of fascism. It's crony capitalism, right? It's what can happen if you get a strongman leader like Stalin or Mao Zedong or any of these other guys, right? So you get the same kind of problems, and that's what Animal Farm brought out. But he was a democratic socialist. Like these guys who wrote this shit were fucking socialists. Look, socialism in a perfect world, if humans were perfect, would lead to communism. And it would be beautiful, right? And you could even take that to an extent of anarchy. But once somebody does, and we've had this conversation before, once there's somebody who's a psychopath in your midst, the whole idea of anarchy goes out the window in 2 seconds. In 2 fucking seconds. So, yeah, and anytime I've even had an argument with anybody about this who calls themselves an anarchist, once you start getting, really start nitpicking it, they start describing democratic socialism, and you're like, well, that's democratic socialism. We'll just, okay, so everybody's going to vote on every fucking issue. No, we'll have representatives. Well, that's how you form the government. It's like, come on. So, let's just wrap this up.
Okay, yeah.
They're laying the groundwork, because we just kind of went off on these tangents, but I just like reiterating this stuff for anybody who hasn't watched this before. What they're laying the ground for work for, right? What they're describing as communism is not what the fuck is people are talking about whatsoever. There is no left in this country. We already said that. The people that are Democrat in this country are right-leaning neoliberals anywhere else in the fucking world. Leftists are democratic socialists, progressives, and communists. We don't have those in any, any strength outside of a few local politicians like mayors and
governors here and there. Yeah,
not even a governor, just mayors and some senators. That's it. That's it. There is no Democratic Social Party of any strength in this country, which is center. Which is center.
To the extent that it's been shifting that way, the old guard in the Democratic Party has been literally putting their foot on it. I mean, it's.
Well, that's because they're neoliberal, right wingers. So, look, they're capitalists, Oh man. So anyways, he's laying the groundwork, right? He's calling anybody who would have been a normal American, even if you were a Republican in the 1950s and 60s, a goddamn communist and wants to put your ass in jail.